Hello. Oh, hello.
Sorry. Hey up, lad, you alright? You're right, it's me, Peter Coates. Peter Coates. I know you're a fan, I know you're a Stoke fan. I know you've been thinking, Hughes out, get him out. Who do we bring in? Well, I've got him. I've got the guy. I've got the fella. The man who's going to take us out of relegation zone.
Who's that then? Who am I supposed to be?
Stoke fan, aren't you?
Stoke
fan. Local Stoke fan. I'm a local businessman. I've taken over the club, Stoke City, the club I love, and I've taken them to the Premier League, and we've had to make a change. Mark Hughes, not the man, but I've got the man.
Why is he ringing a Stoke fan?
Because he cares about the fans. He's a lovely man, Peter Coates. Lovely. I've got you, man.
Who is it? Mick McCarthy?
No.
Martin O'Neill?
No.
Roy Keane?
No.
Slaven Bilic?
No.
Ronald Koeman?
No.
Sanchez Flores, surely?
No.
Not Alan Kirby.
No.
Paul Jewell?
I should have got in there. No.
Harry Redknapp?
No.
Zola?
No.
Oh God, Di Matteo?
No. Paul Lambert.
Oh,
see you later.
Fucking hell.
What a great appointment.
Welcome to One for the Weekend podcast, brought to you by... You're having a fucking laugh, aren't you? Hello.
Alright, geezer. Hey, Paul Lambert. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing your Scottish accent. It's me, your agent. I know you haven't done anything for ages since you lost the job at Wolves back in the summer. Don't worry about it. I've got the perfect club for you. Not a problem.
Who is it?
They're monster. They're monster. I've got the club for you, Paul.
Is it Burnley?
No,
Leicester.
Leicester, good side, but no, they got Claude Puel.
Is it West Ham?
No, it's not West Ham, mate, I'm afraid.
Is it Southampton?
No, not them either. They are struggling, actually.
Newcastle?
No, but
Is it Palace? Got to be Palace. Hodgson's got to go.
Hodgson's unbeaten in 5 away games. Are you mad? No.
Who is it then?
It's Stoke City.
Fuck's sake. Right, is that the end?
That's the end for
See?
this week.
You loved it. I think you deep down you wanted to be an actor, and you've fallen into this.
I did have a brief dalliance with drama.
Did you?
I did, and then got self-conscious and left it. But yeah, maybe there's a. I don't know. Let me know, guys.
One for the weekend pod.
One for the weekend pod. Yeah, right. Let's talk about football.
One for the weekend pod. Brought to you by Fan League.
Absolutely.
Building the world's number one football community.
Absolutely. Stuart, let's get straight into Fan League, okay? We've got trivia to come. We're going to be talking about Alexis Sanchez, that deal, and how that's going to affect Arsenal and the players they might bring in. AUBAMEYANG being one of those that they're linked with, and who's better out of those two. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about uninspiring managerial choices. What are ours? What are yours? Let us know in the comments. But we'll be talking about Paul Lambert, Ryan Giggs. We've also got Soldiers Lost in Battle. Good. We've also got Flames Advice, which we dropped in last week, and people seem to have picked up on it. Yeah. Flav and James, Flames Advice, Stat Nuggets, and Those Were the Days in a jam-packed podcast.
A lot. Are we going to be talking about the weekend football?
We are, absolutely. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, talking about that. We'll also talk about Spurs and how you're doing better now.
Everything's fine.
So lots to talk about. As we said, this is a podcast that gives you up for the weekend. It's brought to you by Fan League, which is it's an app where you try and predict the outcome of 13 English football games in the Championship and in the Premier League. And if you can do that, Flav, you can win big money. Let's get straight into the mug roll call, which we'd let go for a couple of weeks. But in the One for the Weekend League, last week, boys, not great. So, and it's almost impressive. So this week, if you want to play, just to say, remember you can play for 20p each week. Like nothing, and you can make 11k. You can make this week if you can get all 13, and even if you get 10 or above, you're going to be making some money. And also, if you haven't signed up yet, if you sign up, then you get game credits to start with, so you're not going to have to pay for the first couple of weeks. So it's definitely worth doing. So game week winner Reece Coyne, who's been a regular decent player for the One for the Weekend League. Because we've gone down 24 places.
That's all we do. That's all that happens.
I want to go up.
Well, do you? I think it's you're the problem.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just you're bringing your QPR mentality to this podcast.
To our league?
You're just fine with just mediocrity. Well, I'm saying no.
Right.
All right? These two players who played last time.
So yeah, mug roll call. Yeah, I might have to. Yeah, we'll both say it in once because this is not good enough. You've got 13 games. All you got to do is pick if the winner, who's going to win, or if there's going to be a draw. Yeah. Right? General, my average is 8 out of 13. Ryan Williams, mug. Jordan Scrivens, mug. Both got 1 out of 13. Something I haven't seen before in the world of Fan League. Blown away.
Can I be so bold as to say just leave the league?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just go.
Yeah, if you're good at this, like if you do accumulators and you're like one off, that's a good thing about fan leagues, that you can get one or two wrong and still make some money. Please join this league, because Jordan and Ryan, and you're not the only ones. There was a lot of 2s and 3s as well. Yeah. It wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good, and you should all be embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, join the One for the Weekend League. You can do that by clicking the link in the description. Add me as a friend, James Alcott, LLT in Alcott, and I'll add you to the league. Trivia. Last week we asked you this very question: which two clubs hold the record for losing the most Football League Cup semi-finals?
Yeah.
The answer was Devang Shah. Got it right. Well done. You will get a shout out if you get the answer right in next week's podcast, because I'm going to ask you a question in a second. But yeah, the two teams that have lost 7 Football League Cup semi-finals were Arsenal, who are still in the semi-finals, of course, this year against Chelsea, and West Ham United, which is a slight shock. You thought Spurs might be up there, but they weren't.
I just love those answers. That's my favourite question ever, and my favourite answers ever.
That's so true, isn't it? Yeah. Arsenal, lost 7 Football League Cup semi-finals.
And with Spurs are the choke artists, apparently.
Are you?
Right.
Well,
according to that fact.
Yeah.
Not just opinion, fact.
Early stat nugget there. Yeah.
Arsenal
are one of the biggest losers when it comes to the League Cup.
Love choking.
This week's football trivia question revolves around Eddie Howe and Bournemouth. So Eddie Howe is managing his 100th Premier League match against West Ham this weekend.
That is a feat in itself.
It is a feat in itself.
Especially with tiny little
And he's only 40, right? 40 years old and 52 days.
He looks 22.
He's a great inspiration to me as someone who can look young but with a bit of status, and the way that you carry yourself.
Be taken seriously.
You can be taken seriously, yeah. So hopefully one day, that's kicking in any day now. I'm certain of it. He's 40 years old and 52 days. He will be the 3rd youngest English manager, behind which 2 other managers who have managed 100 or more, well, probably more. Definitely
younger than 40 English managers.
Yes,
and they're not active.
What's active?
Have they managed in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Don't worry, it's not for you. It's for the people at home.
Is it a bit of a trick question? Is it
absolutely not
interim?
Absolutely not. 100 games an interim manager.
Oh, I missed that bit. Yeah. 100 games. Sorry.
So yeah, this is the 100th game this weekend.
I know it's not. I know it's for the people at home, but if I get both, I'm gonna say.
Okay, you've got the podcast to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be a shame if you ruined it for everyone else.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah,
it's just the way it is.
Right. This weekend. Let's get straight into bloody hell. We're moving quickly through. See, I know you've got a lot in there, but there's a lot to we're getting through stuff already. I'm gonna save stat nuggets for a little bit longer, a little further into the podcast. Let's get straight into Arsenal and Alexis Sanchez and this whole thing, because it's literally everywhere, on the internet, on YouTube, on Twitter. It's incredible, and it's finally coming to a head. It looks like we're recording this podcast just as it looks like it's going to happen. He's going to go to Man United.
Roberto Di Matteo.
Incorrect. Good guess though. Good guess.
Right.
So yeah, concentrate now. And we'll talk about Arsenal, how Arsenal cope with this whole saga in terms of this game against Crystal Palace, which is a tough game for them this weekend. But the Sanchez thing itself, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm delighted that he's going. It's clear that he's the best player at their club. He's one of the best forwards in the league, and I always like seeing a great player leave Arsenal. But it's time. They're doing the right thing. Arsenal. They're getting rid of him. They're getting some money. They're getting good money from him. If the reports are correct, 35 million this late in his contract. Huge amount of money for Man United to pay. Crazy, in my opinion. Well, I said a while back, actually, on this podcast, that the fee that should be commanding is around 15 to 20 million for a player of his quality with 6 months left in his contract. 15, 20 million is about right. The fact that Man United are willing to pay 35 million
and 500k a week.
Yeah, that's insane amount of money. But they do get a very valuable player for a long time.
So with that feeling like it's kind of inevitable, I mean, you might be listening to this or watching this now, and it's gone through. where does this leave Arsenal? First of all, let's do Arsenal Crystal Palace first, and then we'll go long term, because obviously there's still a couple of weeks of the transfer window, and Arsenal are linked with a lot of players. But going into this game after the defeat against Bournemouth, where they looked sluggish, they looked demotivated, they looked like they were lacking confidence, and bottom line was the front three looked like they had just a real lack of quality.
Yep.
They then go into this game, and Arsenal, they've never failed to score against Crystal Palace at home. They've scored in every game at home this season. The home form's what's kind of, although it's been a really disappointing season for them, the home form's what's kind of at least kept them where they are right now. Away from home, little stat nugget here for you. They've got the worst amount of points. I think it's 13 in 12 games. Worst amount of points that they've had since the 2005-2006 season. So away from home they're struggling. At home though, it's been a bit of a solace for them, which leads to this whole, because there's chaos every time Arsenal lose a football game. It's absolute chaos, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the kind of football club they are.
And all of these stats that I'm saying mean nothing, because going into this game of football, Crystal Palace are a different team to what they were, and although they've got an awful record against Arsenal, I've put them down in my family predictions as at least getting a draw.
Right.
I think it's a nightmare game for Arsenal to be playing right now.
I think the Sanchez stuff doesn't help. He's he's on his way out, and he's been gone pretty much since the start of the season. He hasn't played well this season at all, really.
No.
But this does cause upset, because Arsenal know that without Ozil, if he's still out, I'm not sure if he's going to be fit. But without Ozil and Sanchez, they're ordinary. Like any team, if you take the best two players out of your team, mostly, unless you're Man City, you're going to struggle. And that's what we've seen. And, as you say, Palace are, I think they're second in the form for away form. They won 2 out of the 1-2, drawn 3 at the last 5 games away from home.
Yeah, I'm beating last.
They're not the Crystal Palace at the start of the season. They do have the players to hurt Arsenal, especially in defence. Arsenal don't look great recently. And it's going to be one of those games. That said, Arsenal they always score at home. I think there's 27 games on the bounce.
25, yeah.
25.
Yeah. Every single game this season.
Although they were average against Bournemouth, they probably were cruising most of it. It was just for 3 minutes, 4 minutes of madness when they let in 2 goals, but by and large they probably should have won the game. So, I wouldn't read too much into it. It's just they have to work harder and rely on, the rubber to green a bit more when you don't have Sanchez and Ozil to pull something out of the bag.
There's a lot of doom and gloom with Arsenal, but in terms of the long-term look for Arsenal, there was a great article in Le Grove, which is an Arsenal fanzine, and it was looking at, actually, on the sort of face of it, you look, you're losing Sanchez, that means Ozil's definitely going to go, and it's all doom and gloom. But in AUBAMEYANG, who they're sort of linked with very heavily, the Malcolm deal is another player that I think a lot of people are excited about him as a player. But those were the days for you. What's happened with all the the exciting Brazilian names? What, Malcolm and Fred? What is going? What, like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo,
Oh yeah, it's weird.
Kaka maybe, I don't know.
Unsuspecting
Romario.
English names.
Yeah, Fred and Malcolm.
I'm just waiting for an Ian to come up.
What's the worst Brazilian name that there could be?
Yeah, Ian.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Ian's good. Yeah.
Dave. There's probably been a Dave, and then David.
Dave's on the horizon. But this article's looking at the squad and just as importantly the influence of Arsene Wenger in those dealings. And there's Sven Malsinstat has come in and he's pushing through the AUBAMEYANG transfer. Apparently, he's also getting rid of a lot of the dead weight. It looks like they're going to get rid of a lot of the dead weight. El Nene's linked with going away. Walcott went. And it's not worked with Walcott overall. I don't think he's not been the player that they wanted him to be. Links that Giroud might go as well. Coquelin has gone. So in terms of the bloated squad that they've got of players that, bottom line, aren't at the level that they want them to be, you're getting rid of all those guys. And if you bring in AUBAMEYANG, are you bringing in a player who can just as well as Alexis Sanchez did last season?
But they're different players. So they're bringing in a number 9, and Sanchez is much more than that. That said, Aubameyang will have a comparable impact. He's an incredible elite forward. Spurs played Dortmund, played them four times over the last 4 years. He played 3 of those games, and he was at times unplayable. He's so fast. He's so prolific in front of goal. It's an amazing signing if they can get it over the bar. Really, as a Spurs fan, it's tough to swallow. But that, Aubameyang is an absolutely superb, world-class striker without doubt. There are issues over his discipline previously, although Dortmund themselves have said that was something that's in the past and hasn't happened. The kind of playboy antics, nightclubbing, that kind of thing. And there's been some disciplinary issues this season where he's just not turned up for team meetings. And Stoger, the current manager at Dortmund, he said, I'm not going to fine him. That doesn't mean anything to him, so he just won't play.
Yeah.
Which is a bold thing to do, because he scored 21 goals in 23 games this year. It's massive.
And he scored 23 goals 2 years ago, 28 goals last season. In 2016, the Guardian consulted with a load of journalists and experts, and they put him above Alexis Sanchez in terms of the best players in the world. Obviously, all these lists you've got to take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, they didn't mean it.
The next year, Aubameyang was still sort of top 20, but he'd still, scored 28 goals. He'd scored more goals than Suarez, Lukaku, and Mbappe. People who've scored who've cost a hell of a lot of money to different clubs. Yet, PSG didn't want to spend 75 million on him in the summer, and Arsenal. I think there's 2 ways of looking at this Aubameyang deal, because why has no one just gone, wow, look at these numbers? For a team that's just won a German Cup, they've not won anything else in the last few years.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers that he's been able to, put together. Why? Something's not right that no one else has gone for him, I think. But at the same time, there's a real opportunity here to get a guy who, bottom line, has scored those goals for Arsenal.
Well, yeah, there's 2 things. One is he scores lots of goals for Dortmund. As you say, he hasn't won anything, really, a German Cup. And that's the kind of thing that gets thrown around a lot about not winning anything. Apparently it's really important. I think he's wanted out from Dortmund. Dortmund have priced him out of those moves. I think there is a perception that Aubameyang is probably, his reputation is better than what he'll actually end up delivering. That said, I'm not dismissing him as a footballer at all, but I think people put Aubameyang with Lewandowski, Kane, Ronaldo, Messi, that bracket, but he isn't. But he is still an absolutely amazing and prolific goal scorer.
Has he got been just because he's been at Dortmund instead of?
I mean, it's
top 6, 7 clubs in the world.
Second best team in Germany as well. So it's not like he's at a small club. The other problem is that Aubameyang isn't a replacement for Sanchez. Mkhitaryan's a replacement for Sanchez, and they need both of those players.
Yeah,
Aubameyang coming in doesn't solve the Sanchez problem. They've essentially got 2 number 9s at that club now. So they have Lacazette and Aubameyang. I don't know how they fit both of those in, unless they change the formation. It would be a bit odd in the modern day to switch to a 4-4-2, or even if it's in the diamond with Ozil at the top, it'd be very good going forward. But with a back 4, I can't see it working in the modern day. I think they get torn to bits. So it's an interesting one. I don't know how much of it's about placating the supporters and getting this marquee signing through. I think bizarrely the Mkhitaryan deal is the most important one, because they get both of them and they have balance. They can play free behind Lacazette or Aubameyang. But if they just get Aubameyang in, there's like an upgrade on Lacazette. It doesn't solve their problems.
The thing that would concern me would be there's a kind of, if you close your eyes and you look for a kind of a nondescript Arsenal player, he's 5'9", 5'10". He's not definitely a forward or an attacking midfielder. He's great technically, but he kind of wilts a bit.
Who?
This stereotypical Arsenal player, right?
Yeah. The
worry that you would have, and you're never going to know if it's going to work out or not. But Mkhitaryan, there's been question marks over him being able to deal with the pressure at Man United, with the pressure of Mourinho as well.
It's an understood fact. He had problems with confidence, self-confidence, self-belief in and dealing with pressure at Dortmund, and he had the same problems at United when he first come. So I mean, mentally,
and Aubameyang, the same thing. We said it at the start when we first started talking about him, is that there's these little things that you're kind of like, oh, hang on, are there problems with him as well? Does he kind of give up on it? Does he start to misbehave when it's not really what he wants? And so that's not what Arsenal need. Arsenal need players with quality but grit when it gets difficult as well. So that would be my concern.
There's so much more to football now. If they sign both those players, they are quality marquee signings, and they've done very well out of this transfer window. That said, in the cold light of day, mentality is hugely important, and there's nothing to suggest that Aubameyang doesn't try his hardest when he's on the pitch. Of course he does. You don't score those goals without it. But the fact that there are question marks over the mentality of both players, and going into a football club and Arsenal where they already have question marks over a lot of their players, the mentality of them. Troy Deeney exposed that in that damning interview he did post-match. You do wonder about their recruitment policy, but look, you can't, as much as it pains me to say, you can't deny that if by selling Sanchez and by Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang, they're probably stronger for it.
Okay, let us know your thoughts. Are Arsenal stronger if they get Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan through the door in this transfer window from the turn of the year? Right, it's that time, Flav.
What?
Stat nuggets.
Oh, brilliant.
Let's do it. Right, first up, so this stat nuggets is just for, if you're out and about this weekend. We realised last week that we need to gear you guys up for the weekend. You need some little stat nuggets in your pocket to allow you to have top quality pub chat.
Impress the ladies.
Well, yeah, there was one comment that I was quite like, that we should call them stat up lines. But I'm not. Do you really think these are going to woo women?
No, but that is better.
That is good, isn't it?
Stat up
really?
lines. Yeah.
But I like.
Why don't you find some stats that would woo
the ladies? I'll see what I can do. If you've got a stat nugget or a stat up line, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
A stat. I would love to read a stat.
Let us know your stat up lines.
Yeah, a stat that's gonna get you a woman or man.
I mean, I don't want to be crude.
Okay.
I don't want to be crude.
Right, first stat nuggets. Let's do it. Newcastle United can win 3 back-to-back Premier League away matches for the first time since December 2001. Exciting times for Newcastle.
Well,
but who are they playing? Man City.
Man City. They play Man City, and obviously we saw what's happened. It looks like the deal's fallen through to sell.
Vaguely, yeah.
So they're stuck with him. It's tough. Like, they don't deserve it, really.
I think they just need to get to the end of the year and stay up. And then you got the whole summer and you get a deal done then. I think most companies would be very wary of taking over a club in January.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they've got that wrong. Exciting times. Could get back-to-back Premier League away.
Newcastle v City, the wheels are falling off there, aren't they?
Man City, yeah. Unfortunately, Man City are unbeaten in 20 Premier League matches against Newcastle United. 117, drawn 3. Their longest unbeaten run against a side in their league history.
And that was before they were good.
That's before they were good, exactly. The 5 previous Premier League meetings between West Ham and Bournemouth teams have had 23 goals at an average of 4.6 goals per match. This is the highest average for any fixture to have been played at least 5 times. Stat nugget.
That's insane.
Lots of goals at West Ham Bournemouth, so maybe that's a good bet for you guys.
Yeah.
More than 2.5 goals.
You might want to hedge if you
You may want to hedge. Nice. Well
unpredictable.
Brought back. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. In their last 10 Premier League home matches, Stoke City have been defeated in alternate matches. So they've lost one, then they've drawn or won the next one.
Right.
Their last home match, Newcastle United, was a defeat, which obviously means that they will beat Huddersfield this week. So again, in your fan league predictions, put down Stoke City because it's like time, it's a certainty.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to happen.
That's death and taxes.
Taxes.
Not time.
Time is certain, is it not?
No, it's not.
Okay. Let's just
fluid.
But it's certain.
It's not.
It's definitely happening.
Death and taxes is what's certain. That's it.
All right.
All right.
Taxes.
Taxes. And the expression is there's 2 things that you are certain in life: death and taxes.
All right.
Google it.
All right, no, I don't need to.
Right.
That's fine. Leicester City have
Not
won.
time. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just saying something that always keeps moving forward. Right. I've got my phrases mixed up.
Whatever.
Can we move forward? Leicester City have won 7 of their last 9 home league matches. Strong at home at Leicester, including the playoffs against Watford. So not overall.
Beat Spurs
against Watford. That's another game I've hedged. And Watford's 23 Premier League matches this season have featured 75 goals. Only Man City with 84 and Liverpool 82 have had more goals in their games. And your final stat nugget for this week.
Yep.
Everton have only lost 1 of their last 10 Premier League matches against West Brom. Won 5, drawn 4, lost 1. And that loss was back in 2016. So again, Everton favourites for that one.
I like the Wayne Rooney one because you like Wayne Rooney.
Okay,
You've always been backing Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. I don't know why I do back him.
Yeah, because you're right. Wayne Rooney has been directly involved in 14 goals in 13 games this season. Starts against West. Starts against West. I forget it. Terrible.
You'll never know.
It was. He's got 7 goals and 7 assists against West Brom. I don't like these arbitrary stats. I want stats I can actually mean something.
Like what's the?
Well, against West Brom, it's like it's just a coincidence. It's a fluke that it happens against that same team. It's not
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's the
It's
you're
like,
looking.
It's like Jermaine Defoe. He loves scoring against Leicester. It doesn't. It's just a coincidence. There's no such thing as like a team that you like playing against.
You're looking at this completely wrong. All right.
Am I?
You're taking stat nuggets and looking at them as a negative. That's something that's going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
What you need to do is find the right stat nuggets for you, twist them round, and use them to help you prove a point.
I want to just see what stat uplines.
Stat uplines will be good. I mean, I'll be impressed if we can do that.
Right.
If anyone's got any stat uplines. Right, it's that time. It's time for Those Were the Days. There we go. Soul Taibi. Lots of Those Were the Days. They're piling up now. So keep watching and listening and subscribe to Long Ball Street because each week there'll be new Those for the Days and we might read out yours. Probably very likely to. Right, first one. Soul Taibi. Those were the days when your friends from all over the UK were supporting Man United because in the year that they started watching football, they won a trophy. Using that as an excuse to support Man United.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, when I was a kid at primary school, there was a guy that supported Aston Villa because they were second in the league. Glory Hunters have been around for a long, long time. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
I saw a little kid in a Man City strip, whole kit. He was about 4 years old.
I've got 2 instances here I want to talk about in terms of those.
But what I would say, if you've done that, it's not too late to change back because your loyalty means nothing. Yeah, if you've chosen your club based on the fact that they're the best in the league, then it doesn't matter if you're loyal to them or not because that's a joke.
Right.
But you still have time to change. So find your local club, go and support them. Because otherwise you'll be like Sam Peoples, who has to spend the rest of his life being ridiculed because he's too stubborn to turn away from Man United.
Yeah, there's a bravery in that of moving back,
Yeah.
making. It's never too late. It's never too late
never
to
too
stop
late.
being a glory supporter.
No.
My best friend,
Yeah.
right, wasn't really into football. I got him into football. I got the team for you, mate. QPR. I'm a big QPR fan. He was loving it. We're 5th in the Premier League. Life was good. And then I remember Cup Winners' Cup final. Alan Smith scored. Arsenal beat Parma against all odds because Ian Wright was suspended for the final.
Yeah.
Going to school the next day, all of a sudden, that same best friend has become an Arsenal fan. And has been an Arsenal fan ever since. Outrageous.
So, are you going to
Fuming.
name him?
Patrick Luke. You know the truth. You're going to make up some nonsense if you ever hear this or see this. But the truth is, you were a QPR fan first. Because I
How old
pushed
was
that
he?
on you. We're about 6 or 7.
I mean,
I can't remember.
I
But
mean, he did the right
turned.
thing because otherwise.
Well, hang on, you just completely going against what you just said.
Yeah, but QPR. I mean, you can imagine the purgatory.
What do you mean? Maybe we're flying high. The likes of Les Ferdinand, Andy Sinton, Trevor Sinclair. Tearing up Premier League defences. Time and again, finished above your lot.
I know.
Year after year.
You keep saying that.
And the second one was, I've forgotten. What was it? Glory supporting. It's gone. Damn. If it comes back, I'll tell you.
Okay.
What were we talking about? What was it? It was when
Look.
someone's become a Glory supporter.
Yeah.
So, that's it. The other thing. When I was at uni, I did football coaching on the side for a bit of money. Shocking money. But anyway, it was in Sheffield, right?
What? So, hang on, so talk me through this this decision. You're at university. You're obviously going out having a few beers,
Sure.
talking to the ladies.
Talking to the
Ladies. And then, mainly the ladies.
Yeah. yeah. Not exclusively, but
80%.
clear focus on the ladies. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go on.
Any type of lady? Or?
All sorts.
Yeah.
If they got a nice personality.
Yeah. And then you thought, I need some more money. I'm going to go and coach some kids.
Well, no.
How did you get into it?
The course I did at uni was sport development with coaching.
Right.
Which is an actual course. And that was the route I was going to take. I was going to be a coach. And so I was doing coaching. And I did a...
And did they call you coach, the kids?
Yeah, they'd be like, hey, coach.
Gaffer,
Yeah. I don't know what they call sir. Anyway, what I noticed, though, was Chelsea was starting to...
Creep in.
Yeah. It was about 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
And Man City had started to do better as well. Both, all of a sudden, you've got kids from Sheffield all wearing Chelsea and Man City kits.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I'll tell you something as well. Not a lot of people know this, but Craig, our producer, he started supporting Chelsea in 2003.
Yeah, that is a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a stat nugget.
Yeah.
We finished stat nuggets, but that's...
He's even gone so far as to create photographs of himself in Photoshop next to players when he was a child.
He's talented that way, isn't he?
Yeah, he knows how to do it. That's what happens when you're glory hunting. You need to kind of back up your story with fake.
But you can crush their spirit of these Chelsea and Man City fans if they don't deserve to be fans of those clubs.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
What I did was put all the Chelsea fans into a team for the end of week tournament, like I was in the summer holidays, and I just so happened to referee those games that they were in and didn't give them anything. Made sure they lost.
Yeah, good. Destroy the kids' confidence.
Yeah.
At 5 years old.
Absolutely. Because you shouldn't be doing that. Okay,
well,
and
you
you will be
somehow,
punished some way or another.
Good.
Karma will get you. Sorry, those were the days for quite a while here. The next one is from Paul McKellar, and he's got two for us. First of all, the magic sponge treatment.
So, those young enough to not remember this, there was a time where a physio would run on with a bucket and a sponge.
It's mad, isn't it, now? When you think
And
about
just, if someone was on the floor, just splash some water on the knee.
Yeah.
And then they'd get up and run off.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. Magic sponge is a real thing.
Leg snapped in half.
Yeah.
Snapped in half and went, quick.
No.
And he run as quick. They do now as well, don't they? But it's like, I bet physios do sprint training.
Yeah, I've always noticed that. When physios run the pitch, how quickly they run.
But they're coming on sloshing about.
It's not going to make much difference. Like, if you've got like a torn muscle or a strain, it's not going to be less strained by the time you get there because you run fast.
Cold water seemed to be, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It did seem to work though. People seem to get, we've lost it.
Yeah. It's a bit of
water.
sponge.
Giant yellow sponge.
So much better. No, they often had deep heat as well. I remember the deep heat being sprayed.
If it was, if needed. And finally, Andy Gray saying, take a bow, son, after a thunder bastard.
I mean, he did it once.
He did it loads. That became his thing.
Really? I thought it was just the same bit of just played.
It's just what the Gerrard and Diakos did.
It's a good thing that they are not on telly anymore.
Well, they are on telly.
Are they?
Yeah, but they're in Dubai for I think it's beIN Sports, where I think misogynist behaviour is encouraged.
Oh, I don't know if it's encouraged.
He's
I forget it. It's just it's tough. They would still be in. They would still be in now if that shit hadn't happened.
And it has moved forward without them.
Boring.
Yeah, it was getting boring.
They knew about as much about football as I do.
Yeah.
Comparable. Me and Andy Gray, similar levels of football intellect, but he gets to work for Sky for 25 years.
Yeah. Hit subscribe, guys. Hit subscribe. Game 2 that we're going to talk about this weekend. This is one of my bankers in the Family predictions. Spurs, and I don't normally do that with away games or away winners.
You always bet against Spurs as well. Notice that.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Everything's neutral with me. Southampton versus Spurs. Southampton haven't won in 10. And more importantly, Spurs, 6 wins in 9. 1 defeat in 9, that was to Man City.
Yeah.
Is it coming together for Spurs?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we should move on.
I think we've got used to Wembley. We've worked out how to play that surface. The space, as I'm bored of talking about it, but it's such a different. Like White Hart Lane was the smallest pitch in the Premier League by some distance.
You've doubled down on this space thing because you were like, I remember you saying like it's only like half a yard bigger than Leicester City's pitch, and you're saying it doesn't matter. It's not about space.
Yes, so I said that was on the
Clearly
back.
said that.
Yeah,
Sure you said
that was on the back of us beating them 6-1 last season.
Right.
So I'm like, well, it can't be that much of a problem. But the fact is, it was. We were.
But isn't it a problem for the other team as well?
No, because they're but they've got they're the away team, right? So they're never going to know the surface anyway. So we've got, or the dimensions of the pitch or like visual cues about where to hit. So Alderweireld used to say that at White Hart Lane he knew the weight of the pass based on the advertising.
Right.
And bits of the stadium, so he'd know how to hit it based on where he was on the pitch. And he said Wembley, it's all gone. What I'm saying is that it takes time to adjust and use the pitch to your advantage, whereas the away team are always going to be at disadvantage. That's why playing away is more difficult. So Spurs essentially for the first half of the season had almost like were playing on foreign soil all the time. Anyway,
and they had those advertising hoardings that move.
Yeah, that's no good.
So Alderweireld was
the one with a little dog. They're like, but by and large, things are going all right. We're playing well.
Absolutely destroyed Everton last week.
Destroyed
one of the goals
Everton.
of the season as well.
Dele
Alli Eriksson one.
Yeah, that was
lovely.
It was a great goal. I don't want to say too much, because we did get absolutely annihilated by Man City. We had a horrible draw against West Ham, although they parked the bus. These things happen. We are still a very, very good football team. We've got an amazing first 11. They're all back fit apart from Alderweireld now. So, we should. We've got 3 big games coming up against Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal. Those are going to define our season. If we win those 3, or if we get a draw in them, then I can pretty much say that we're finishing the top 4.
How many of those are... So, how many of those are home? Or?
We're playing United and Arsenal at home and Liverpool away.
And how do you see it working out? You got the Champions League to play as well. What does your gut say in terms of the rest of the season? Where do you think you'll end up, and where do you think?
I think we'll end up 4th. I think, and we'll go out valiantly in the Champions League. I think we get past Juve, but I think you draw PSG, even if we draw Real Madrid again or Barcelona, it's just no chance over 2 legs.
Okay. And last thing I want to talk about is Son.
And what I would say just about this game, Southampton, from what I've seen this season and at Tottenham, were horrendous.
Oh, poo.
Yeah, poo. But
he's hanging in there.
90 minutes of football, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Son has been.
That's an incredible turnaround, isn't it?
Last year he was
being
good.
out the door,
21
but he
goals.
was out the door, wasn't he? Wolfsburg, he was gone. He was going to Wolfsburg.
No, he wasn't that definite.
It was like 20 odd million. He was definitely going, wasn't he? Last August.
No.
No.
There was no. Last year he scored 21 goals. You might be talking about the season before
I'm saying the summer before he scored 21 goals last
season.
season.
Right. So a season and a half ago. Yeah. So he'd been injured for about 6 months of the season. He had this issue with his foot, the tendon between the back of the foot to the balls of the foot.
Right.
It's a really difficult injury to get right. Anyway, fixed him, and he's brilliant. And what we Spurs have benefited massively from over the last few years is we have this player that suddenly elevates himself. And I don't know if that's about Pochettino's training methods or it's just players coming of age at the right time. But we had Dele Alli came out of nowhere. Harry Kane came out of nowhere pretty much. Son has now come out of nowhere. Eriksson's now playing at the form that you'd expect him to. So there's benefit, there's luck in that as well. So, but we're riding it well, and Son so far has got to be our player of the season, even though Kane scored 28 goals or whatever
Really?
he's got. It's just that you expect it from Kane now,
Yeah.
which is tough for him. But Son is like, you get the ball and he's exciting, he's fast, he's pacey, he wants to attack. Like players that Andy Sinnan.
Great guy.
Those were the days.
Great guy. We've got a podcast on this channel with him.
He would attack the fullback. That's what Son does, and it seems to be so rare now.
It does seem to be so rare now.
Yeah.
I think that's such a shame. Do you know what? Gareth Ainsworth, manager of Wycombe, Queen's Park Rangers legend, not great at football. All he did was pass it 5 yards, past the fullback, and just run in a straight line. And the worst thing that happened was we got a throw on.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me, and I always infuriated when you don't have a winger that's like happy to kind of do that and back themselves.
It's just football's changed, isn't it? It's like a percentage thing, isn't it? It's if you're not extremely skillful or pacey, then you're playing at such a low percentage area of the pitch where you're more likely to lose the ball than retain it if you don't have the skill to beat a player. So there's very few players that are able to do it now. So you got like Zaha, for example. Son can do it. Mkhitaryan can do it. And these people that can beat players at will. But if you don't have that, then it's much more economical and useful to your team if you cut inside or try and find a hole to pass through.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I would also suggest that back in the day, fullbacks weren't that quick. It's a fine line between one person being quick and so much quicker than the other.
I don't remember fullbacks when 4-4-2 was the staple formation. I don't remember fullbacks ever being quick. They didn't need to be. They weren't there to overlap really, unless you were a very, very good team and part of your game was to put pressure on a deep line defence. But usually you had wingers. 4-4-2, you had two wide men. They would attack. Fullbacks would more or less sit and cover.
Yeah, true.
So now the game's changed. You don't have fullbacks, you have wingbacks.
Okay. Right, let's move forward. Soldiers lost in battle time. You don't like doing your intro anymore, do you?
I just keep saying the same thing every week, and it's
true.
like everyone knows it.
Thank you for all the Soldiers Lost in Battle stories. We've got loads now, but keep them coming in. And as I say, keep listening to the podcast because we might read out your story.
Just in case you don't know, and this is the first time, it's about it's people that have missed massive games.
It's about love and loss.
Oh yeah, that's more poetic. But if you've missed love and loss, but the loss being at the hands of someone else who's made you miss a game of football and it ended up being one of the best you've ever missed.
Yes. Right, here we go. Soldiers Lost in Battle time. Here we go. Two long ones here. Tom Bastan. As an American, the night before the FA Cup final is very important. The final is on Saturday morning, so going out on a Friday night is a bad idea. If you want to wake up and drink by 10 a.m. the next morning. However, my girlfriend decided to become my ex-girlfriend. She dumped him. And then said she'd called an Uber and would be back by midnight. So she just dumped him and set him off.
And then said she'd be back by midnight?
Yeah. I begged her to reconsider, to stay and talk things over, not just dump me and have a night out. She said she'd just see some friends for drinks and come back by midnight. Brackets, we had a flat together. Midnight came and went. So did 1 a.m. So did 2. I was worried sick about the fact she got in a stranger's car, an Uber, and never came back. So I panicked. I stayed up all night looking for her. Worried sick something had happened. It wasn't until I got a text at 6 a.m. from her that she was fine. She had spent the night at a bloke's flat.
What?
She met at the bar. I was sick. I puked. I cried. I was all sorts of distraught. I passed out in a puddle of my own tears come 7 a.m. I woke up at 3 p.m. struck by the realisation that I'd missed the FA Cup final. I'm an Arsenal fan, so Flav will say I had all this coming.
Yep.
And when I went to check the score, I honest to God was hoping we had lost to Chelsea of all teams. I was hoping we had lost and my crying myself to sleep spared me the heartbreak of Arsenal losing to Chelsea in the FA Cup final. I'd never wished for my team to have lost a game ever, never mind a cup final. Of course, you know the story from here. Arsenal beat Chelsea soundly, and apparently it was an amazing game. I wish I'd watched it.
Can you just stop that for a second?
Yeah.
First off, you are a gooner and you deserve it all. But, what? So
different level. What a bitch.
She's dumped him. So you know that what she's done, right? She knew. She'd arranged to meet this bloke already. She knew what she was doing. She's dumped him because she wanted to get some, but wanted to be guilt free.
Yeah.
What's
she pushing the night out? Why is she pushing Well, hang on, we've got a flat together.
Yeah, I've just dumped you. I'm going on a night out.
Yeah, but the Raz never sleeps. What are you doing? Sit down. Let's talk this through. We've got a flat together.
Yeah. What, like, and then you'll go out, and then you're just... I can't say what I want to say because, fan league, you wouldn't like it. But that is unacceptable. You're better off out of it.
Yeah, mate.
And...
she's rubbish.
You know, what a horrible thing to do. Like, and people don't realise that has a lasting impact on people. That shit changes people.
He'll never enjoy an FA Cup final again.
He'll never... Because when...
Poor bloke. What's his name? Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah. While he was using all his energy up, running around thinking that something horrendous had happened to her and missing her, she was having you know what and doing you know what.
Disgusting. And Tom, I'm sorry, mate. Oh, good luck with the future. Right, we've still got one more to go.
Terrible.
Horrific. Poor bloke. Right. Let's go again. One last one. Quite long as well, actually. Is it better?
You should have put that 1 second. There's no way it can be better.
Maybe. Antonio Guisti won. I'm sorry, 1 week ago. I've done it again. Soldiers lost in battle. I was preparing to watch my favourite team, Manchester City, play. Unfortunately, I live in Australia, so it was 3 a.m. To make things worse, I'm 14. That's not, and had school the next day.
All right.
Despite this, though, I persevered. I got hungry, so I decided to make a sandwich and some milk in the kitchen.
Oh.
Then disaster struck. As I placed the glass down, I heard the door open. It was my dad. He told me off for being awake and for eating. I said, Dad, I'm going to watch the game. But it was too late. He took my laptop and my sandwich and told me to sleep. But did I sleep? Did I fuck? I snuck into my brother's room and stole his laptop to watch this game. But then, just as the game was starting, my internet went down. Why has this happened? I pondered furiously in my head. And then it clicked. My dad had turned the internet off to ensure I slept. But I did not admit defeat. I decided to waste all of the data that we have in our shared plan to watch this game. I saw the first goal we conceded, and we went into half-time 1-0 down. I was tired as it was bloody 3 a.m, so I decided to rest my eyes for a second. But when I woke, it was too late. I'd missed the entire second half and had to get ready for school. However, there was one positive. The game I was watching was Everton 4, Man City 0 from last season. Good perseverance.
Good. Really well written for a 14-year-old.
I mean, he was 40.
Well, 15.
I don't know how old he is now.
Well, it said last season, so 15.
Oh, yeah, true. Very well, well done, Antonio.
Very well done. Have you ever had that feeling of dread when you know you've been caught?
And you know, being caught? Doing
Yeah, like
what, watching the internet at 3 a.m?
Yeah, no, your dad's walked in, you know it's over.
What's over?
Well, whatever you're doing is over. Like, have you never been told off in your life?
Yeah, of course I have.
Well, so like that, you know, you're just... The examples I use, again, I can't say on the Fan League podcast, but I've been caught doing things.
I think people probably know what you're talking about.
And the dread.
Use a different word, and people know.
All right. When I've been sharpening my pencils, and caught sharpening my pencils...
Have you been caught sharpening your pencils?
Nearly. I can't tell the story now. This is a shame.
Go on.
I can't. It's not suitable.
You're just sharpening your pencils.
But this is the problem. Is now people need to know now because they're going to go, oh, they got to say, but I can't say it on this podcast.
Okay.
But I was sharpening my pencils, nearly got caught. I didn't get caught, but the feeling inside my chest, that feeling of absolute horror and dread
of the possibility of someone catching you sharpening your pencils.
Yeah, that is, and not just sharpening your pencils. You could be doing anything. You could be, I don't know, writing an essay.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Right, what is the most uninspiring... let us know your Soldiers Lost in Battle stories. Put them in the comments below and keep listening to the podcast. If you want to hear Flav's story, let's go 500 likes and see if we can put some pressure on him.
I don't mind telling it. I can't do it on the branded content.
Okay, well, maybe 500 likes. Family might like that. Let's see where we go.
All right, we'll ask Fan League and see if they're alright. If they're alright with it, then I'm alright with it.
Okay. What is the most uninspiring managerial appointment of all time? You will have heard at the start of this podcast a phone call between me and Flav, expertly acted out as Paul Lambert and his agent, but also Peter Coates, who's the chairman of Stoke City. So Paul Lambert's his first game in charge in the Premier League since February 2015 when he was manager of Aston Villa. Had a very difficult time there. 3 seasons. He was able to keep them up with a squad that was obviously really poor, and they ended up going down with 0 points essentially. But they didn't want him. Stoke City didn't want him. They wanted Martin O'Neill, or they wanted what's his name?
Anyone.
Sanchez, Flores.
Flores.
The reason I'm bringing this up is just because I think all football fans, and there's another one, let us know in the comments, we've all had that guy.
Yeah.
And so Craig, not Craig our producer, Craig my mate from Great Touch for a Big Lad, he is a Stoke City fan, season ticket holder, and well, I was chatting to him about the fact they got Paul Lambert, because he was certain it was Martin O'Neill, and he's quite happy with that. He's quite excited about that. Martin O'Neill and
So because he wanted it, he made it certain in his own head.
yeah, he's like, definitely happening. And he went, he wrote on it, and I spoke to him later, but initially he went, Paul Lambert then, we sort of went, Paul Lambert, you know, he went, look, I know I've got to get behind him, but what the fuck? And then spoke to him on the phone. He said the same thing. He went, he was like, I need to. He just couldn't get away. He's like, I guess we've got to get behind him, haven't we?
And hope it all works out.
Hope it works out, like, because he is a bit depressing as a football manager. But then I looked at the football managers that have changed this season, and not many of them are inspiring. And so I wanted to do, I guess, through the medium of a sound, maybe maybe something like that, Flav. If I go through the managerial changes this year,
yeah, I'll get it.
You let me know what your initial feeling as a football fan, if you're a fan of that team, would be for this new incoming manager. Okay.
Yeah.
So 11th of September, you remember Frank de Boer got the sack very quickly. Roy Hodgson was the man to replace him. Yeah, I think that's about right. Then it was Craig Shakespeare who lost his job, which was a little bit unfair. But anyway, Leicester City, that was on the 17th of October. Claude Puel came in. Then it was Ronald Koeman who went out for Everton 23rd of October. Sam Allardyce was the manager. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about right. Then David Moyes came in at West Ham. He's doing well. Alan Pardew then came in for Tony Pulis at West Brom. Paul Clement lost his job and Carlos Carvajal came in. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. And now Paul Lambert's the new manager. That is the feeling. It's not inspiring, is it?
No, it's not inspiring. The problem is there's a finite amount of managers out there. Like there ain't that many to choose from. You either go abroad and gamble, or you stay at home and gamble. Paul Lambert is a gamble. I don't know what he's going to do unless he's just been unlucky. Like, I know Aston Villa are a shambles. You know, they've been a mess for years.
And he kept him up he did keep him up for 3 years. It's how you look at that period of time. And also I think the difficult thing for Paul Lambert is he's quite dour. So our impressions and football fans' impressions of him is one of a manager for teams that have struggled in the Premier League and he's generally pretty boring as a person. So that's not helpful. So in terms of the most uninspiring managers in the Premier League now, is he the most uninspiring manager in the Premier League?
I mean,
for a team that really needed something.
No, because I would say like Pardew or something, but Pardew's even done it at times, and at least he's, I wouldn't say charismatic, but you can look at him and be slightly bemused. Whereas when you look at you look at Moyes, you look at Lambert, and you just think, I feel nothing at all. There's not a single.
Is Wenger in the mix for that as the most uninspiring manager?
Nah.
Do you not think? Is he inspiring his team? Is he?
No,
what are you
he's not inspiring
him?
his team now, but he's done it all. Lambert and Moyes have done nothing. Literally nothing.
I would say Arsene Wenger is the most uninspiring manager in the Premier League right now. The reason I would say that is because even with Paul Lambert, the fact that he's new allows there to be some kind of hope and optimism.
I mean, in spite of the fact that he hasn't been around, he's still boring. Like that should tell you everything. Like you're still looking. Paul Lambert is he? He's still He's doing this still, is he? Yeah. You could say something for his time at Colchester.
He did well at Colchester. No, he did well at Norwich. Back-to-back promotions got them into the Premier League.
Yeah,
so he is a good manager, but he's not inspiring.
No, I can understand why
Craig was gutted.
Yeah, I mean Craig. I get it. I had Christian Gross at Spurs. We had Jerry Francis.
Yeah. Let us know your uninspiring managers that came into your club, just to get you going, get your juices flowing. Joe Kinnear at Newcastle, that was a nightmare. No. Christian Gross at Spurs, Roy Hodgson at Liverpool, Southgate for England, I think has generally been seen as uninspiring. Egil Olsen at Wimbledon, confused a lot of people. Do you remember him?
No.
Yeah, don't worry. Felix Magath at Fulham. For QPR, Paul Hart came. Paul Hart came to QPR. He was manager for 6 games, I think. And around that time, I did a bit of reporting for the youth team at QPR. And Mark Bircham was he was managing the youth team. He was helping manage the youth team. And before we went off to an away game, I sort of came into the training ground and did sat down with them whilst they were eating. And Paul Hart had just gone. And Mark Bircham was there talking with the other youth team coaches, and he's going, "Did I dream this up?" So there's a guy, an employee within the club, was like, was Paul, he was here, wasn't he? He was here, wasn't he? Did this exist? Did this happen? Because he just came and went, and he was just like, bleh. He was just depressing. Just this depressing manager for us.
What about managers' weird appointments?
Weird appointments?
Odd one. Like Christian Gross was an odd appointment for Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Felix Magath was one. I think, Egil Olsen was another weird one.
Felix Magath, was that post Fulham?
No, that was at Fulham. He got
I
the job
thought you said he was QPR.
Oh no, Paul Hart got the...
Felix Magath was a weird one. What about that Di Canio?
I mean, that was weird. That's a great example of how we all get caught up in the personality of someone.
Yeah.
He was at Swindon and done okay in League One, and got the manager's job at Sunderland. He didn't really earn that job, but he was exciting.
Yeah.
And that we'll know how that ended up. The other appointment this week, Ryan Giggs for Wales. Is that an inspiring managerial appointment or an uninspiring one?
What has he done? Oh no, he's a great footballer, don't get me wrong.
But what did Gary Speed do? What did Mark Hughes do? What did Coleman do before they got the jobs at Wales? Wales have had this kind of tactic, I guess, of giving these epic legends a chance.
Yeah,
and it's worked.
It has worked, but with Wales, they're at a level there. It's all about the players. If you've got the players, you can do something. They've got Bale.
I really want to do my Peter Beardsley, because you said players twice.
God.
Player. So it's all about the player.
Yeah, so he's it could work out. It's just that he's you can't imagine him G'ing them up for a big game against England, can you?
No.
Well, you'd be sitting there. If I was Gareth Bale, I'd be sitting there, or even if I was Ramsey or Gunter, right? I'd be sitting there, and Giggs would be up there, and I'd be going, "You bang your sister-in-law. You did that to your brother."
You're happy to say that on this pod, then?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's not
factually accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, he did do that to his brother, and that's what I'd look at him. I don't care what you've done in football. That's you as a man.
So you can't be inspired by what he's done on the pitch?
No, because he's the most despicable of human beings. So no, why should I?
Okay.
Why should I listen to you say anything to me?
Interesting.
That's what I'd be. If I was Chris Gunter, that's the way I'd be feeling inside.
Wow. If you were being managed by Ryan Giggs, would you be excited about the fact that he's been there and done it on the pitch, won everything? Or would you be like, this guy's, I've seen him on telly, I've seen that clip of him doing a team talk before his last game at Man United.
Come on now, Hull's a good game to go into.
You're all good players.
You're all good players.
I'm really excited about
give
this
the
game.
fans something to laugh about and go on with, because Man City and Chelsea are going to win the league, aren't they? It's like, mate, just shut up. Get out of this room now.
We'll see how he gets on. Do you think he'll be a success or not? Predict it now in the comments, let us know. And finally,
we've got more.
Last bit.
Right.
Flames advice.
Okay.
Do it. Flav and James offering advice. But it kind of got misconstrued in the comments because you've essentially given us advice. But there is one question.
We need advice.
Adil G5 says... Sorry, I've done it again. Adil G says... Also, genuinely, without opening the racist door here, what do native English people eat? Daily.
Food from other countries.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's a very multicultural... Certainly in London.
Yeah, London.
Can't speak for the rest of the
London.
world.
So where's this guy from?
I don't know.
Let us know. In London, no. I mean, the only time you eat English food would be on Sundays when you have Sunday roast or fish and chips, something like that.
What do you eat more than any other food?
Cheese. cheese in
Cheese and bread.
between bits, some sort of breaded item.
Lovely.
Soup. I like a bit of soup.
Yeah.
And
Love a cup of
I
soup.
like curry. I love curry.
Right.
Curry. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I might have a curry. I have a curry at lunch after this.
Yeah?
Yeah, mate. Was it lunchtime? Yeah,
Yeah,
half an hour.
close.
Half an hour.
Yeah, lovely. Happy days.
Come with me. Have a curry.
Where are we getting a curry from?
I can't say because it's branded.
All right, lovely. Okay, Antonio Giusti says hashtag Flames advice. If she says don't worry, it's just a game, get rid and say don't worry, it's only a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Do you abide by that advice?
Well, no, but I would just sort of pass it off as something that she or he doesn't understand properly. Because to say that football is just a game is among the most stupid things that has ever been said. It isn't just a game, it's much more than that.
Lovely. And Johnny, I'm not sure I agree with this one. Never sit with your girlfriend behind the goal if she doesn't know the offside rule. It makes explaining it an absolute fucking nightmare.
You can imagine, you can understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, but
if you're behind the goal and you're going...
Why are you presuming that your girlfriend doesn't know the offside rule?
I mean, I think he's just going down...
Stop saying rule. Rule.
He's just going down this stereotypical view that women don't know the offside rule, which is ridiculous. But if you are in that situation with someone, male or female, who doesn't know the offside rule, explaining it from one end of the pitch is impossible.
It's difficult.
You need to sit down.
So that is good advice. Thank you for your advice. Let us know more. If you've got questions you need advice from Flav or myself, Flames, let us know in the comments below. Whilst you're there, do this now. All of you do this now. Subscribe on iTunes and leave us a rating or a review.
Yep.
Or on the Long Ball Street, hit the subscribe button. Do us a favour. That's it.
Yeah.
For another One for the Weekend podcast. We'll be doing a couple of videos quickly on the Fan League channel, giving our predictions and talking about one other football nugget this time. So head over there, subscribe to the Fan League YouTube channel. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Download the app and join today.